Arizona Senate candidate Kari Lake did an interview with the Trumpet Daily, which very quickly went off the rails. Well, we return to Kari Lake, who is running for Senate in Arizona. She is, of course, the MAGA Republican who ran for governor in Arizona, lost to Katie Hobbs, and then has been claiming that it was stolen ever since. And she did an interview on a show called the Trumpet Daily, where she said a number of deranged and unhinged things that we'll get to, beginning with her saying this.
Obama was such a disappointment.
Right.
He stoked racial hatred, not even hatred. I don't believe there was that racial hatred. He tries to act like America's a racist country. America's the least racist country. And he stoked that to try to get votes and to push fear. Yeah. And he had such an ability, if he would have wanted to bring America together, and he squandered that.
So there was no racial hatred, according to her, I guess, until Barack Obama came along and started stoking it. Of course, vile and ridiculous. And if there was a surge, which I think there was, in an expression of racial hatred when Barack Obama was in office, it's number one, hatred that already existed. Number two, because he's black and people were racist, which how he controls that, I don't know. Which, by the way, just in a general sense, I hear this talking point about Barack Obama constantly. Oh, he failed to unite us. Did you see the Fox News coverage during his presidency? If he wore the wrong color suit, they would lose their mind. Literally, the tan suit scandal. How is he supposed to unite the country when one side is dedicated to making him out to be Satan? And also, Barack Obama, in my mind, his problem was being too sweet to Republicans. He tried too hard to work with them, bent over backwards trying to. I think he could have gotten more done if he'd realized, as Biden did earlier on, because of his experience in Obama's administration, that so many Republicans aren't interested in actually making progress. I have more clips from this Kari Lake interview that are wild, but before playing those, this idea that Obama is the real reason for racism, or at least the current amount of racism in the country, which on its face is a pretty racist idea. So do a little introspection if you're believing that. But many Trump supporters have told me this at rallies. Here's an example. You mentioned that Obama's racist because of what he's doing in power right now. What is he doing that's racist?
Contempt for America.
But what's the racist part of it?
Look what he's doing to the gay community. You don't think what he's doing is hurting them?
But homosexuality is not a race, right?
No. I'm jumping around. You got to follow me. I'm quick.
The racism in this country started with Obama.
I know that's true. Everybody knows. And the war on
pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
I don't support that statement, but racism started under Barack Obama.
No, the way it is now.
So there it is. Do y'all remember? Everything was fine and dandy. Racism had disappeared. It was gone. It was a thing of the past. And then it just so happens it all came back when the black man became president because he was going around and stoking it, I guess. Insane. Then it's not a Kari Lake interview without her pushing election denial. Here's her saying that believing the 2020 election was legitimate is like believing the moon is made of cheese.
Yet he gets 81 million votes, the most votes in the history of this great country, more than Obama got.
Right.
This is crazy. They're asking us to check our logic, to check our common sense, to set aside our intelligence and believe these outrageous lies. These are like the kind of crazy lies, like the moon is made of cheese lies. And, this is how insane it is.
So recognizing that every court case, audit, independent investigation, Trump's own campaign commission investigation, every recount, recognizing that all of that points to the fact that the election was free, fair, and legitimate, that's like believing the moon is cheese, according to Kari Lake. But going off of a gut feeling, as she's doing, because it really doesn't seem like Biden could have received 81 million votes. That's the reasonable stance. Something doesn't seem right about that. Which, by the way, this talking point of how is it that Joe Biden received more votes than Barack Obama is so silly. The whole 2020 election saw record turnout. So both Trump and Biden got more votes than past elections, than Biden got more than Trump, which makes sense when you had one of the most divisive figures in American history on one side of the election, and we were in the middle of a once-in-a-lifetime crisis that motivated a lot of people to care about who was in power. And I hate to break it to you, MAGA, but a lot of people really don't like Donald Trump, so they voted for the other guy. And it's interesting how much she was projecting there. Listen to this clip one more time, but with a little bit of the context cut out, and it actually makes total sense. And I'll actually pose a question to Kari, and we'll let her in that clip respond. Hey, Kari, what are election deniers asking their followers to do?
They're asking us to check our logic, to check our common sense, to set aside our intelligence and believe these outrageous lies. These are like the kind of crazy lies, like the moon is made of cheese lies. And, you know, this is how insane it is.
And to the question I asked, she's absolutely correct on that. Now, before moving on to the third clip from this interview, she said the moon is made of cheese, and for some reason that reminded me of a different election denier that doesn't believe the moon is made of cheese, but believes the earth is flat, or at least she's flat curious. And I've been wanting to show this clip again for a while now. I played it in the past, but it just really makes me giggle. And it never really fits in a segment, so I'm just going to randomly throw it in here. Another election denier, that's how it fits in. Here is an elected Republican in Georgia.
I said that it was globes everywhere, there's propaganda, but it's the truth. And you know how many people who don't believe in flat earth, they believe that we're, you know, in a solar system. They reach out to me, they're like, Candace, you know what? You're right. I have been looking in stores and there are globes everywhere. Like there are globe toys and there's globes in the decorations. And you said that on your show and people thought you were crazy, but it's true. Why are they pushing the globes? And I said, well, I think it's because of NASA wanting to spend billions of dollars a month. But they try to say that I'm crazy because I said that. And they still go on my social media and my comments and they say, are you seeing globes everywhere, Candace? Are you seeing globes? I'm like, yeah, I am.
So yes, Kari Lake's almost correct, except it's being an election denier that's like believing the moon is made of cheese or the earth is flat. And it just so happens that there seems to be some crossover in the believers of those different ideas. Here's more from Kari Lake's interview on the Trumpet Daily.
This is a war not being fought with bullets, but there is a war that's happening against our republic. And I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. I think there was a coup when they stole our election in Arizona. There was a coup and a takeover of our state government. The people's will was taken from them when they rigged an election, and they installed people in our state government who were not duly elected. And this is why I continue to fight every day.
It was a takeover, a coup of the Arizona government when she lost her election. My goodness. Even though, as we covered a couple weeks ago, I think it was, the fact that she's lost another court case relating to her challenges of the election. Maybe, Kari, you just lost and you got to accept it. Now, I mentioned projection earlier. It's so blatant there, saying that's the Democrats trying to do coups when Trump actually tried to block the peaceful transfer of power to install himself as the president in 2020 and 2021. He's now being prosecuted for all these schemes, the fake elector scheme, the attempt to block certification of the election, etc. That was a non-military coup attempt, trying to seize power for more time despite the will of the people. And Kari Lake is supportive of that, but saying Katie Hobbs taking over after she won an election is the real coup. Ridiculous. And one more Kari Lake moment for you. Here's her during a different recent interview saying this.
I'm a mama bear. I'm trying to protect my kids' futures. They're 19 and 20. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're in your generation. And I will leave you with this. As bad as things seem to be, and they are right now, I believe that God put us all here at this moment for a reason. Just as our founding fathers were there at that moment, and it was only 3% of them roughly that decided, hey, let's not have this king, you know, across the pond tell us what we can do. We want to have our own country. Mm-hmm. We want our own freedoms and rights.
So there she's using the historically inaccurate idea that 3% of Americans fought in the American Revolution to say that this is our American Revolution, which rhetoric like that combined with all the other, it's 1776 all over again, sort of rhetoric that we hear from some of these right-wing individuals is actually really frightening, thinking that the situation we're in is like that of the revolution. Thus, potentially violence could be necessary, super dangerous. Before we go, don't forget to become a member at lukebeasleyshow.com/membership to get the daily bonus show Monday through Friday exclusively for our members. Plus, follow me on Threads at Luke Beasley Official, Instagram at Luke Beasley Official, X at Luke P. Beasley, and sign up for the Beasley Brief, a daily morning newsletter that summarizes the previous day's events by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/brief. I'll talk to you all next time.